Hey crafty people! Welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Welcome back. So this is not what I'm supposed to be working on right now, but sometimes my muse is a little pushy, and she decided I really needed to start this project. So what I have here is, this is from some new sheets that I got for my bed, and when I pulled them out and I saw the cardboard in there, I was like, oh, this would make a journal cover. And it measures, it's 9.5 by 6.5, so it's a little larger than I usually would do, and then a 3.5-inch spine. And what I want to do is create a journal cover for an idea journal for myself, and I'm going to use an elastic binding method for this so that I can slip pages in and out as I go along, because I kind of want to have like one signature be like journal page ideas and a signature for like my ephemera ideas and ideas for using junk mail envelopes, and kind of like organize my ideas and things that I have done so that I can put like template pieces in here and stuff like that. So that's the plan for what this journal is going to become eventually. But we gotta make this pretty first. So what I'm gonna start with doing is I am going to collage over the entire top, inside and out, using old and antique book page. And I'm not going to show you the whole process, but I'll show you how I'm going to get started on it. So I've just got a whole bunch of book page from my stash, and we're just going to go to town putting stuff on. Like, you can tell this is an old book no one read because the pages are still like sealed shut. Let's grab a ruler, and I'm gonna tear away the edges, the white edges, and save those for stamping on. They're great for doing like little stamped bits and bobs for using when making ephemera and such. I'm gonna set that aside, and let's see. Tear off this edge. I think I may just use this whole piece. And I'm gonna go across the fold, and I'm not too worried about it because I am gonna end up adding fabric as well to this to reinforce where our spine is for the journal. So I'm not worried so much about cracking, which may happen with the old book page. And I'm gonna use some matte gel. Let's see if this stuff's still any good. This one might be completely dried out. Ooh, I think this one might be dried out. Oh yeah, this one's dead. Moral of the story, use your stuff. But I have a new jar, I think. Brand new? No, new-ish. And so this is, I think, similar to Tim Holtz Collage Medium. And yes, there's a dog barking in the background, but he's always barking in the background. And I'm gonna fold it over the top because you can kind of see it's a corrugated cardboard. So on our edges, you can see inside, and I'm not gonna want that on my finished journal cover. And I'm gonna put a coat on top as well. Help seal the paper on to the piece. And then just for the piece that folds over, I'm gonna paint some on it. And then fold it over the top and go over top with some more of the gel. And use a little bit of this. These are, book pages I picked up online on Etsy. I'm trying to decide. I think I do want to take that off. That. And I'm going to overlay over, I'm going to overlap the pieces of book page as I go. And this is just to kind of create an interesting base for my journal, because I think what I'm going to use is I have a lace top that I picked up at a thrift store that I think is going to be what I put on top of this, but I haven't finalized my decision on that just yet. Trying to find, got in here somewhere, I think, some antique Shakespeare, which I kind of like to have on here, but I'm not seeing it just now. This is some Gothic German font, or German Gothic is the font, so I definitely want a piece of that on the front. I think I'll do this piece of ledger maybe here, so I can do something along the edge that wraps around, because that's cool. Yeah, these are all the papers I unintentionally hoard because I never remember to go grab them. I need to reorganize my paper so that I can better utilize the stuff that I have by having it in places that I'm more likely to see it and use it. Because, yeah, out of sight, out of mind. This is probably going to bleed when I put the coat over top, but I'm still going to do that to kind of seal it and ensure it's stuck down good. Again, I'm going to wrap around over top. This one's really brittle. And it apparently does not want to stick up here. Right. I'll leave that for now because I can always put something over top to keep that in place. Let's see how this side goes. That's sticking. Might just be, I need to hold it a little longer. There we go. I think I'll probably just do the front and then let me find something to go down there. Okay, I am gonna do this sideways because I want a piece that's gonna kind of go across here. And I'm okay with the fact that it's sideways because I'm gonna pull over my German font and mostly cover it like so. So you're hardly gonna see this piece. All right, and I want whole pieces going across the seams of our spine here area, because if I had two pieces meeting up, they're more likely to peel up at that spot. So that is why I'm putting pieces that go completely across my spine. Kind of wish I thought of putting a piece down before I put the ledger piece down over here. Let's hold off on doing that. See if I can find something I like better. German Gothic font music paper, which is apparently in my stash. I think we're gonna do a piece of that up there. And my desk gate, my ruler. There, so I need a piece for up here. Go, I found Shakespeare. I think we're gonna go like so and then wrap it around both ways. Okay, let me. Grab scissors and trim here. I think I may have trimmed too much, but that's all right. I will probably put book corners on this. Actually, let's go like that. Like that. Like that, and make a real big mess of this corner. And of course it's the front corner. Yeah, I have a feeling that's gonna get a book corner after we're done, because yeah, she's not pretty. She's covered, but she's not pretty. So we just need a piece to go up here of something. It's long enough. It is. So let's do that. Woo. And then I am probably going to go ahead and finish covering this, because this has got to be boring for you. Just seeing me glue paper down, but you get the gist. Find interesting papers, glue them on. Now you could do this with digitals if you don't have antique book page. You could do this with non-antique book page. Because this is, I think, just going to be the base layer. I don't know. Part of me is kind of like, it's really kind of cool looking. Maybe I want to keep it exposed and just put lace on the spine to reinforce the spine, because having fabric reinforce your spine just makes it a little stronger, because that's what's going to get the most wear and tear when you're opening and closing the book. So I may decide to do that. I don't know just yet. Yeah, again, not the neatest of corners, but I think this is definitely going to be a put photo corners on kind of project. So there's what our front looks like so far. I'm gonna finish doing the back. I'm gonna let this dry completely, which probably is gonna take a while because it is very damp out right now. We've been getting some pretty substantial rain. And then I'll be back once it's fully covered and we can move on to the next step. Okay, so I finished covering it and I did get cracking on the bends here, which I kind of expected, so I've got a solution for that. I've also decided I really kind of like the look of the book page on here, and so I don't think I want to cover it completely with the lace like I was planning to. I think I'm just going to cover the spine with the lace. So let's start by dealing with the bends of our spine, and what I have is some fabric tape by 49 in Market, and I'm going to use that to cover and reinforce those bends that are cracking. Oop. All right, I think we're going to cut off a piece that's a little longer, and this is repositionable fabric tape, so we are going to glue this stuff down. And I'm going to use my Barely Art glue. I could pull out Fabric Tack. That would work as well. Barely Art glue will hold fabric. It just usually takes a little longer. But since this has got adhesive on it, because it is a, tape, not just a piece of fabric, I figure I can go with the Barely Art. That will work fine here. And we're just gonna apply that, and then I'll go back and add more as needed. And then I'm gonna get my bone folder to make sure I've got it in that crease all the way. And then we'll flip over, add glue, and wrap that around. And we're gonna put another piece on the inside. And then go to the bottom and do it again. And then we'll put a piece that goes from there to there. That's folded, and I definitely need to add a little bit more glue along the edge here. Just make sure we're glued down all the way. That looks to be good. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing over here along the spine again. It worked a little bit better putting it on the tape than on the board because I didn't go quite wide enough. A little on the short side. It's long enough to cover what needs to be covered, and I'm not too worried about it because we are going to add lace, and that'll cover up. Let's add a little glue, because now's the time to add the glue. All right, and then I've got this lovely lace from a shirt I picked up at a thrift store that I want to cover the spine with. So we're gonna do a piece that kind of goes like so around it. Let's see. All right, I am gonna cut here. Let's get on camera. Cut here along the seam And then cut. Let's just cut here. For this, I am going to use Fabri-Tac. Move that out a little bit. All right, place the right way around. And we're going to have a little bit fold over. And we're going to go kind of like that. And I'm just going to spread Fabri-Tac along here and do it like a section at a time. And I'm going to use one of my little silicone spatulas to spread it out. Wrap it over so I have nice, clean, finished edges. What we'll do is we'll just flip that up. And now we'll have a better idea of how far out the glue needs to go. Like that a lot. I am going to need to let this dry completely before we do the next step. So I'm going to set this aside. And what that is we're going to add eyelets. Then we're going to add them on the outside. I picked up these on Amazon. They're by Crafty. And so we're going to end up doing one at the bottom and one at the top. And I've got a template for placement, but I suspect we're going to be adjusting them a little bit because I don't think there's a couple of spots where it's like this one's a little narrower and this one's a little narrower because I think my math may be off, or because it doesn't work out quite evenly actually because it's a 3.5 inch spine. So we're just gonna kind of wing it a little bit when we go to add them. I think what we're gonna do is probably add the middle one first, then the outer two, and then basically space the inner ones where they'll fit. So we're gonna let that dry. There's one other thing that we need to do that we can do while this is drying, because it's also gonna require drying, but let me go grab, I forgot something. I'll be right back. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I've got my elastic cording, but it's white. And I don't want white. So I am going to do, let's see, having a bit of a thing so I can pull off about what I need. This is hopefully going to be enough. And what we're going to do is move this out of the way. Grab some Salvage Patina Distress Spray. Oh, and if you're wondering about the Band-Aid, I was changing the blade in my paper trimmer and stabbed myself with it. All right, so I am just gonna leave this to dry and clean up my table, and once this is dry and the cover is dry, I'll come back and we will put in our eyelets and add in our elastic for our binding, and I'll show you what it looks like all finished. And I completely bumped this and you've been all kinds of askew. Apologies for that. All right, so my glue's all dry and there is my spine, and I really like that. And here is the elastic cord we dyed with salvaged patina distress spray. And I had a thought where I was like, maybe I want a contrasting color. So off camera, I did a piece of cord in using Villainous Potion, and to get it less dark, because it was very dark initially, what I ended up doing was I sprayed it with some water and I just wrapped it in my rag and kind of squeezed some of the color out to tamp down the brightness of the purple. So I think I may like that better. I think I kind of like the contrast. So I think we may go with this. We'll see. We'll test them both out when after we put in our eyelets. Now, I have got somewhere, is this it? That is not it. I had a template. This is what happens when, here we go. Stop for a while and then come back. You can't find things. So to get my template, what I did was I folded the paper in half. I cut a piece of paper 9.5 by 3.5 wide. I folded it in half, and then I kind of calculated thirds, and I feel like some of them are a little off spacing wise. So I was test laying out the eyelets I got, and I'm going to come up about, what is that, an inch? It's about an inch up from the bottom and about an inch up from the top. And we don't necessarily have to be as precise with this as we would if we were sewing in our signatures, because we don't have to line up the holes on our spine with the holes in the signatures. We just need to, because we're going to put elastic through. I'm just trying to think I may punch the holes from the inside because it's a little easier to kind of see where we're going. Let's start here. And I'm going to do the first one right there. And actually, if I want them to be about an inch up, I need to move that up a little bit. And I'm debating whether I might be able to make pen marks. Let's see if I can make pen marks at least. For this first one. Okay. And then I'm going to do these two and see if those are going to fit properly. And I really don't think my crocodile is going to punch through these. So I've got an old school hole punch that's got changeable tops. Here it is. And basically what I do is I put it where I want my hole and I hammer. Now I'm going to turn the sound off because it's going to be loud. Okay, so we've got holes. I think I may need to cut some fabric on the side. And we're gonna cram that in. Oh no. it gonna go through all the way? Okay, I think I just need to get scissors and cut away some more of the cover piece, hopefully. Okay, just need to push it down so we can expose our brad. And the set also came with pieces for setting your brad or your eyelet. Hope that this is gonna work. Fingers crossed, because I'm gonna be very upset if this is too thick. Concerns about whether this is just gonna pop out. No, it seems to be set. I think what I may do a preemptive flattening. Of the cardboard there so that we are better able to get the brad in, hopefully. Definitely a little bit of a struggle here. Not gonna lie. Thought this was gonna go a lot smoother. And I'm not sure. See, I think we can fit one there, and we can just squeeze one in between there. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of these in because this is boring and tedious and loud, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get these done, and then I will come back and we will add binding and our book corners. So let me go do that and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got them in. I think I'm gonna hold off for now on adding 2 more because, again, with the elastic binding method, you're not permanently putting your signatures in. So if I decide I want to go back and add more signatures, it won't be that difficult to do. Let's go ahead and do the book corners. And I've got these kind of coppery ones, but they're a little too bright. They're not quite the color I want. And I'm knocking stuff over everywhere. I'm so behind because of the stabbing of the finger that I'm filming this the night before it's supposed to air. So I'm in a bit of a rush and the dogs are kind of looking at me like, Mom, you're done with work. Why aren't you feeding us? So let's just add a little patina. So yeah, things are going kind of haywire as a result. Okay, that came off completely with the Q-tip. Like, I should be that was not okay. I need to go get a piece of felt because Q-tip is not working at all. Oi. I'm sure you're getting glare. It's definitely changing the color. Not necessarily what I was going for. I think it might be taking the finish off of the piece. Definitely like it better than the bright coppery. It's not exactly what I was going for, but I think it'll work. All right, let me do the other 4, other 3, however many there are. Let's get these on. I'm gonna start by putting a little fabric tack inside the corner just to help make sure it adheres to our journal well. And it goes over the corner like that. And I'm going to take my pliers and crimp it down. That solves the problem of our crimped up corner over here. There we go. I've got those on. I am definitely going to need to come up with some kind of closure. I have no idea what that's going to be. Let's put in our elastic cord now, which we're going to have way more than we needed because I was anticipating doing 5 signatures, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is come up from the bottom, go in through the top, go over one. Listen to a dog bark. Go down, over, now that I'm doing this, I'm realizing I really needed a I needed it to be even for this to work out right. I think I'm gonna do something not what I intended, but that will hopefully work to make this work out. I think if I do that and then go through there and then pull this one all the way down. I can then go like that. And what I need to do is pull it tight because if you're familiar with elastic, it's gonna stretch over time. And something I realized off camera is that I wasn't paying attention when I put the holes in to the size of my journal pages. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get these pages in or if I'm going to have to do adjusted page sizes for this thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do smaller pages than I normally do because I didn't measure the fact. I didn't take into account when I was like, oh, let's move this down far enough that my pages are 8.5 inches high. And so I decided I couldn't leave off with the hot mess that the binding system for this was. So this is what I did that did not turn out how I wanted. So I already went ahead and added new eyelets in, and I did the 4 this time. So we're just going to snip this off. And I am going to go through and I'm trying to decide, I think what I want to do to cover up these guys is add a piece of lace over top just to kind of obscure them so that they're less noticeable. So let's grab our Fabri-Tac and our scissors and cut off a couple pieces of lace. All right, so now they're less noticeable. We can actually do our binding again. Actually, I'm going to come from outside, go in. Oops, sorry for bumping you. Go up here, and I'm not as worried about the ones on the inside because the signatures will kind of help hide those. Go through, down, up through there, there, through there, Now, I don't want the knot to be on the outside, so I'm just going to go back up through there and bring this one through here so that we're on the inside, and I'm going to pull it tight because, as you may know, elastic will stretch over time, so we want to make sure our binding is in nice and tight. This is one of those processes where having 3 hands would be really good. I think that's good. So we're gonna tie this off, trim our excess, and then we can get our signatures in. Now this signature is not going to go in this journal. I'm just using it to show you how the binding works. So your signature goes in like that. The rubber band holds it in place. And so there you go. And I definitely think I want a closure. So I figured out what I want to do to add a closure to this. And I have in my stash this clasp. So that's what we're going to use. And of course you then need a closure-y part since, you know, the clasp by itself is not going to do anything. So I've got, this is a piece of quilt binding that I sprayed with some Peacock Feathers Distress spray. And then I sprinkled salt on it to get this mottled effect and then decided it was a little too bright. So I found a piece of lace in my stash, and we're just going to attach the lace on top just to kind of tamp down how bright the blue is. And then I left a little extra at the end to kind of wrap around to make for a neat end on the back piece. So let's start with that. And since we don't want like thick globs showing through our lace, I'm going to use my little silicone spatula to spread that out. Kind of get it center-ish. And then I'll wrap a little bit around the back. Add a little bit more on our corners here so they stick together. So there's our fabric piece. Now let's attach this part of the clasp to the end here. And so I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac to glue it on. And it came with teeny tiny nails to nail it onto something. And what I'm going to do is grab my wire cutters and cut them off and glue them into place so that they cover the little holes, but I don't have to deal with the nails sticking through. So let's see if these are gonna work or not. Yep, these are not heavy duty enough. Hopefully these will work. I'm gonna grab my garbage pail and do it inside there. And of course now, oh wait, there it is. There it is. I'm just gonna put a little Fabri-Tac in the hole and go stop and grab a dog who now wants in. Hold on, I'm coming. And I'm gonna do that for, there's 2 more holes. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. Then I'll be back and we'll attach this piece. There's what that looks like with the nail heads glued in place. Now we're gonna figure out the location for the other piece, which is right here. I think I want to put it there, and whoop, whoop. And that will definitely give me enough to wrap around. Okay, so we're gonna put it here, centrally located-ish. And I'm gonna glue it down with Fabri-Tac and use the nails, and I'm hoping the nails are small enough they're not gonna go all the way through. Just gonna lay that flat. And I think I might put an extra dab of glue in the little hole, just in case we have to like trim off the end of the nail because it's gone all the way through and it doesn't look right and all that good stuff. All right, this is gonna be fun. All right, oops, sorry for hitting you. Yeah, they're coming through just a little bit. I'm wondering if I can just clip those bits off. Probably not. All right, I'm beginning to think that what we're gonna do is push them back through, cut them off, and just glue them on because they're too short to bend over and they're not really gripping and holding this in place. So let's just go with the cut and glue method, which I will do that off camera since it's not very exciting. Let's get the rest of this on. So if that hooks like that, we're gonna wanna flip over. Oop. All right, don't want it super tight. I want it, but I want it to keep it closed. So I'm thinking there, that we shall glue it there. There at least has a closure on it, because otherwise it will bounce open a little bit further. So this way, oh, however, we need to hold it in place on the back longer, apparently. Let me grab a clamp and clamp it. All right. All right, so I cut them off and glued them in. The back is dry. And here is our elastic binding idea journal. Now this I just put in as a sample. to show you how the signatures go in, and they fit all nicely now. I will be periodically using this and adding stuff in as we go along. But there you go. Oh, and this is what the spine looks like. And so, yeah, we definitely learned some things doing this one. But that's all for today. So if you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting!